the NFL draft came around, and this is something we did on the podcast last year, but we didn't write it down anywhere. But we tried to come up with a system last year, if you remember, Sean, of grading the mock draft analysts. We looked at Mel Kiper, Dane Brugler, and I think maybe if Todd McShay's was public, we had him out there. We didn't go too wide of a net. This time I decided to watch 6 analysts. I took the final mock drafts for 6 of them. Mel Kiper, who's at ESPN, of course, the mock father, you might call him, the godfather of mocks. Todd McShay, his, I don't know, what is that, Anakin Skywalker? As he's been cast off from ESPN, the mothership. Todd McShay's not doing too poor. We'll get to that in a second. Peter Schrager, of course. Schrager does one mock draft every year. It's like a couple days before, so he doesn't have a lot of time to be wrong. He gets one crack at it, but because of his sources in the last couple of years, he's been money on some picks. Dane Brugler, of course, who we reference all the time from The Athletic, and Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network. Oh, wait, did I forget one? The answer was yes. It's Lance Zierlein. We're going to go through, basically, I did 2 Substack articles. You can check them both out. I did this cool little NFL logo blueprint thing because it was like, we're going back to the blueprint on this. But essentially all these guys who I have nothing against them. But if you think about mock drafts for a second, everything about it has something to do with grading, judging, being critical, and having no accountability when you do it. There's nothing's going to happen to them. It's fine, right? Wrong. Here we go. Mel Kiper can't just move past it. We looked at their first rounds only. That's the ones that they're telling you about for months and months and months. You know, all of a sudden, rounds 2 and 3 are sometimes important, but rounds 4 through 7, who's going to track that? Probably not even us. I came up with a system to try to figure out who did the best. So every analyst earned points for accuracy, weighted by how early in the draft the pick occurred. So that's the multiplier. Because nailing pick 3, you know what I'm saying? When it's there's so much more misinformation as you get further down. If you disagree with that part of the system, I would point out the fact that trading a 3rd overall pick is more important to a team than trading a 13th overall pick. So I don't know why predicting it would be less. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Close call. Right player, right team, wrong pick number. 2 points. Trade wizard. Correctly projected a trade with the right teams, the right pick, and the right player. That's a 10-pointer. And a bullseye. Right player, right team, right pick number. You nailed it across the board.
So nobody got a trade wizard point then, I'm assuming.
Nobody. Yeah, not one analyst. It's hard, but out of 6 correctly called, none of them called a trade from the start to the finish. I mean, the 10-point category exists, but nobody touched it. So let's go worst to first. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Who came in on the bottom here?
Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, roughest night of the group. Outside of Fernando Mendoza at 1, and
I'm pretty sure like my little cousin would have known that pick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He nailed Bailey at 2 also, which at least one analyst went against, but that was also more consensus. So 5 of 6 analysts got those. His most notable correct call was a close call. Projected Malachi Lawrence to Dallas at pick 20, and Lawrence did go to Dallas, but at 23 via the Eagles pick rather than the Packers. He also correctly called Casey Concepcion to Cleveland at 3. So, wait, at 24. I was like, he didn't go at 3. Casey Concepcion to Cleveland at 24. He projected 4 trades, went 0 for 4 on the details. The Saints did not trade up to 3 like he thought. I mean, the Eagles trade, he went kind of wild on his final one. I think he was probably a little bit lost compared to other years and decided to just see what sticks, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Jeremiah is usually pretty good, so kind of weird that he got so much wrong this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just our scoring system. I'm not sure his bosses are going to be like, you didn't do it. But as we all know, and we've covered here, NFL Network is merging with ESPN Media and all that. So does Daniel Jeremiah need to be fighting for his job? Does he already think he's on his way out? Who knows?
Right.
So one bad night doesn't erase a long track record. 5th place, Mel Kiper, ESPN.
Okay. So the
Not a highlight reel
Godfather.
night. Yep. 4 bullseyes, Mendoza, Bailey, number 10 and 14. Linemen with difficult names. But he projected Dallas trading up to 6 and Arizona trading back into the first round late via Miami. Neither happened. When you build your top 10 around 2 trades that don't materialize, every pick that was supposed to follow those trades falls apart with them. He had Cardell Tate going to Washington at 7, Sonny Styles to Tennessee at 4. Flip them, reverse it. Caleb Downs to the Giants at 5, which were reasonable reads, but didn't happen.
Yeah, that's Tate at 7 when he went 4th is kind of wild.
Nobody expected the Cardinals to actually come out for Jeremiah Love until this week when Adam Schefter just so happened to have a tip that the Cardinals were interested in Jeremiah Love on Monday of draft week to try to heat up what I assume was the trade value. But then Arizona said we were never close to actually trading the pick. We were going to take him. So we'll talk about Arizona in a second. Yeah. Did we finish Mel Kiper? Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
4th place, Todd McShay, who is at the Ringer, which they do some great content. I mean, I love some Simmons. McShay doesn't win the leaderboard, but he wins the night's most memorable moment, and it isn't even close. Before the draft, I wrote that McShay had Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama, going to the Rams at 13. I called it a take so independent it borders on performance art because people were trying to debate if he would be available in the 2nd round. Every other analyst had Simpson going late in round 1 via a Cardinals trade up or not round 1 at all. McShay simply had the Rams taking him, no trade needed. 13 picks before anyone else was projecting him to go. So, I mean, McShay, he may not be able to say he had the most right picks, but he's going to have the most memorable correct pick, which might be better for however these guys validate their existence. I don't know. Like, what do you tell your bosses? Like, he can use his Ty Simpson thing for 2 or 3 seasons now.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was right about that. That's definitely something that's going to be good for him to lean on. And I mean, he's been good at this for a long time now, so it's not really shocking.
I mean, do you know anything about Ty Simpson off the top of your head? Because I really didn't until I dove into it. He had 15 starts. He's one of these guys that probably 9 times out of 10 would have stayed in college and got more experience and gotten some more NIL money. Mm-hmm. But he took a chance, left Alabama to go pro, and now he might get to learn from Sean McVay. But, like, Sean McVay looked mad at the post-draft press conference and, like, not happy at all. That's the person they took. You would think this offensive guru, like, he's like a robot, can remember every play if you tell him the down and stuff. You'd think he'd be happy about a quarterback so highly drafted from Alabama, the state where the GM grew up. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that a draft pick didn't just start a divorce in LA. Maybe Sean McVay's got other things going on. Did we talk about the McHenry story last week with Diana Rossini and McHenry? Yeah. So, I mean, that was over Sean McVay. Maybe some of her dirty laundry. Maybe he's about to be exposed in another way in a couple days that makes it make sense, and it's got nothing to do with Ty. I don't want to read too far into it. All I'm saying is the man's was not happy.
Yeah.
So, 3rd place, I told you he'd been hot lately. He only does it once. Peter Schrager of ESPN. Schrager wins something nobody else can claim. Top 5 accuracy. He's the only analyst who correctly projected both Jeremiah Love at 3 to Arizona and Arvell Reese at 5 to the Giants in the same mock draft. Those two picks together earned him 16 weighted points because both carry the 2 times early round multiplier. Love at 3 was the plurality pick. Reese at 5 required believing the Ohio State edge rusher would slip past Tennessee, Washington, New Orleans, and still be sitting there for the Giants' second pick of the night. Schrager also called to Baltimore 14, Baltimore's 14 pick. So 5 bullseyes total for Schrager.
So no one else had Arvell Reese going at 5 to New York.
No.
Jeez.
Everyone had Schrager. Yeah. I mean, people just had Reese going like later, earlier. Some people had Reese going second. We'll get to that. Nobody before the draft. Schrager cited an NFL GM who told him point blank to throw positional value out the window this year. So that GM was right. Point to Schrager there. Second place goes to, they no longer employ Diana Rossini, but the Athletic, Dane Brugler. Probably saying his name wrong if we ever get him on. Brugler's night doesn't have one signature moment the way McShay's does, or the flashy top 5 accuracy Schrager can claim. What it has is 6 bullseyes, starting with Mendoza at 1, and consistency from the first pick through pick 19 that no other analyst can match. He correctly called Love at 3, Tyson at 8, number 10, number 14, Monroe Feeling to Carolina at 19. I mean, his biggest miss, he was the only analyst who projected Arvell Reese at 2 to the Jets over David Bailey. Everyone else had Bailey. So he chose his island. Missed on 2, but hit on almost everything else. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Freeling to Carolina at 19 is pretty, that's a solid pick. Nobody else had that. So kudos to him there. That's a pick that people around here seem excited about.
Exactly, right? So the only one, number 1, Lance Zierlein, NFL Network. Zierlein wins the night on pure volume and by a comfortable margin. 8 bullseyes, more than any other analyst, and he loaded up on picks that carry the heaviest weight. Love at 3. As I said, a lot of people got that one. Tyson at 8, 10, all 2 times multipliers, 14, 22, Seattle at 32, and they take Jadarian Price, the other running back from Notre Dame. Notre Dame had, 2 running backs go in the first round? The not coming in was his Cowboys trade-up projection, had Dallas jumping to 6 for Reese, which never happened. Didn't cost him the title. When you're right on 8 picks and 6 of them are in the top 14, you win the night.
Yeah, no doubt. Congrats to Lance there. What's the biggest takeaway for you when you step back and look at the whole night?
Well, 3 things. Nobody nailed a trade. Fair enough. It's hard to do. Not one analyst correctly projected a trade with the right teams, the right pick, and the right player all together. You could argue Daniel Jeremiah was closest, but I didn't have a way to nail an almost trade. Like, he knew the Cowboys were going to go for Downs and trade up to get him. Just were wrong when it was going to happen. Right?
Yeah. No, totally.
So, I mean, the NFL draft is fundamentally unpredictable at the transactional level. Thursday kind of proved that. Yeah. Ohio State class was completely real. Reese went 5, Tate went 4, Styles went 7, Mangola went 10, Downs went 11, 5 Buckeyes in the top 11. And the receiver bet we talked about, we needed 6 wide receivers in the first round to cash plus 145. Final count. Not 6. Tate at 4, Tyson at 8, Lemon at 20, Concepcion at 24, Cooper at 30. 5 receivers. The bet did not cash, which is crazy because right before the draft started, the number moved to minus 185. Like, they made it unbettable to do the over. So Vegas was scared that was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should have came back in on the other side. I'd have to drive out of state to do it. I'd have to drive back out of state.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Probably not worth it at that point.
So a lot of people saw those articles, really appreciated everybody's feedback. If you want to see insider stuff like that, where we do grades that nobody asked for on things you didn't think you wanted to know about, now you kind of in the back of your mind, when Lance Zierlein does a mock draft, you're going to think, maybe I'll give him a longer look, Peter Schrager, and maybe I'll think 14 times before paying ESPN to read Mel Kiper's latest mock, because it's like, what is that? The only thing ESPN Plus has other than UFC? What is it
Seems
for?
like it. Seems like it.